Guess I should have let you in. Don't you? I never meant to start a war. I just guess I should have let you in. Don't you? I never meant to start a war. I just guess I should have let you in. I never meant to start a war. I just guess I should have let you in. Don't you? I never meant to start a war. I just guess I should have let you in. Don't you? I never meant to start a war. I just guess I should have let you in. Don't you? I never meant to start a war. I just wanted you to let me in. I guess I should have let you in. Guess I should have let you in.
Welcome back, WRCR, to Off the Bounce. We are now going to take over the other side of this bracket, and we're going to start it off at the top of the West. We got Arizona facing off against San Diego State. Johnny, I know who you like, so I'm going to start with David. David, who do you like in this one?
I like Arizona.
Okay.
Aaron Gordon. He's gonna lead them, man. I mean, I don't really like San Diego State in this matchup. They don't really match up to. They didn't look great. I mean, they look good, but they didn't look great in their previous matchup. I think Arizona's just gonna run them over. Actually, it's not even gonna be a close game.
Wow, that's bold. I as well like Arizona. That's just because I think they're like the much deeper team. Because it's not just Aaron Gordon. I think, honestly, on this team, Aaron Gordon is a little bit more of a role player than I think people realized he would be. But you got guys like Nick Johnson, even like Gabe York. They just have so many pieces contributing. I mean, they ran over Gonzaga. And, I mean, they're looking really good. This is just such a complete deep team. They're a team that was very deserving of that one seed. And I see them moving on straight to the Final Four, and I think they got a very good chance to make it to that championship game, and they could even possibly win this whole thing.
Another thing, San Diego State has played nobody in this tournament. Like not nobody, but they played North Dakota State. I mean,
and then they played New Mexico State. I mean, yeah, they haven't been challenged that much yet, which I think might hurt them because when you play a team like when you're playing a little under teams, then you go up against someone like Arizona that kind of can catch you a little bit off guard.
It's like, okay, whoa,
Yeah, but I really think that, and even I think a sleeper like player on this team is someone in Rondé Hollis Jefferson. He's a freshman, and he does a lot for this team. He's averaging like 9 points, almost 6 rebounds. He's a good passer. Plays good defense. So I just think that they got a lot of pieces on this team in Arizona, and I think the depth is what's going to push them past San Diego State.
Yeah, I think it'll be an easy win, and I think Aaron Gordon's going to have a big game in Nick Johnson because they both have like this kind of like this Kobe and Shaq duel, kind of like that relationship.
Yeah, they played on an AAU team together called the Oakland Soldiers.
Yeah.
That team is filthy.
Oh,
if you ever want to watch an AAU team that's unfair, look up the Oakland Soldiers.
The guy that I played ball with, Noah Allen, he plays for UCLA. He played on the Oakland Soldiers also.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That team is just crazy.
Just watch them.
Watch on hoopsmixtapes.com.
Yeah.
Make sure the people listening, check it out. You see some incredible ball players.
We're getting like some money from, Hoop Mixtape. We're getting little shout-outs and stuff. But, yeah. And I got to be honest, though. I think Aaron Gordon is going to need a deeper tournament run if he wants to leave this year.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he's proved himself yet. I think he's going to need a deeper turnaround if
early
he
in the
wants
year.
to
Early in the year, he was talked about top 5, top 3. And he was just. I feel like he was forgotten because of all the hype of Jabari Parker and Wiggins, and I feel like there's nothing. Everyone forgot about him.
Because he's really not as prolific as a scorer yet, and I think what is going to have to happen is he has to bulk up his body. Aaron Gordon, whether he likes it or not, his entire life is going to be compared to Blake Griffin because they look so much alike, and they both are just incredible leapers.
Yeah, they are.
Blake stayed an extra year and got huge.
Yeah,
if Aaron Gordon does the same, he's going to be a problem and can see himself getting a number 1 overall pick. And why not stay at Arizona? I mean, if they don't win it this year, they'll have a great chance to win it next year.
Now, do you think Nick Johnson will stay?
That's the thing.
Because if he leaves, that's a big
that is
player.
a big loss. And the thing is, like Johnson right now, his draft stock might be at its peak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he stays another year and doesn't perform as well as he is
it's
now,
gonna be like a Marcus Smart.
You know who that remind me of? I think 2009, Scotty Reynolds. They used to play for Villanova.
I know exactly. Yeah.
He had a spectacular junior year and decided to stay again because they made it to the Final Four. And his senior year, he was down.
That's the
and
thing.
then he plays overseas now.
Yeah, and that's why you see these guys. They unfortunately, I mean, I get honestly. As the thing is, these guys, it's the college experience or money, and they wish if they could have that money guaranteed them, they would definitely stay and play longer. But you can't guarantee it, and sometimes you have to think about your future.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what's best for these guys.
Yep.
Now, moving along, we're going to have the 6 versus 2, Baylor against Wisconsin. Johnny, who do you like in this one?
I like Baylor, and the reason I like Baylor is because Isaiah Austin, sophomore, height 7'1",
Oh, dude.
and this guy is getting rebounds, and that's how they're winning big games, you know. And he's been playing a big role. You know, they just beat Creighton, 85 to 55. 85 to
blew
55.
Doug McDermott's team. They
Blew him out.
Baylor wasn't even the favorite of that game.
they looked incredible.
Yeah.
They looked incredible, and they shot 61% from 3.
Yeah.
63% from the field. That's how you blow out a team.
Yeah, exactly. And great
That's how you
defense and
blow out a
rebounds.
team.
Rebounds. That's a big key. Rebounds.
Well, I mean, they're not doing like superb in the rebounding, but they're doing a good enough job.
To win.
That's the thing. And Wisconsin's a great team, but that's another team. They're lucky to be here. They almost lost to Oregon.
How are they number 2?
They deserve. I mean, I'm saying
I don't really.
they're a good basketball team. You know what I mean? But look, a couple baskets the other way, and I know if, but I'm just saying you really could be seeing a Baylor Oregon game right here, and it wouldn't be that surprising that way that game ended.
I'm taking Wisconsin here because of one reason. My boy Frank Kaminsky.
Let's get Frank Kaminsky. Why?
This guy, we saw the first half of the last game. Foul trouble. Had to leave the game early. Second half, he comes back in the game. He just controlled the offense for him. They ran the offense through him, and we saw he scored about I think 6 straight points at one point. He just took over the game. Whether it's setting picks, offensive rebounds, even with a 3-ball. I mean, he's a great player, and he just took control. And they were down when he was out of the game.
I will say his matchup against Isaiah Austin is going to be a key factor
And
in this game.
he cannot get in foul trouble like he did. He has to stay out of foul trouble.
I mean, he's got a little bit of a bigger body than Isaiah Austin does, but I think Isaiah Austin might be a little bit more skilled.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a huge.
That's the matchup of the game.
Yeah, that's probably
whoever wins that matchup is probably going to end up winning the game.
Yeah. And it's also, I think, going to depend heavily on how Baylor and Wisconsin shoot the 3-ball.
Yeah.
I think both teams,
Wisconsin's got some great shooters. They really do.
It's going to really heavily depend on who wins that matchup between the big men and the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the bottom, the Midwest, Kentucky, Louisville.
Oh, I mean,
Played each
when you
other.
asked me before, I'm still deciding on that. I cannot pick because this is such a great matchup.
Yeah.
And I think in Louisville, Russ Smith has played spectacular ball, and he's been, Peyton Silva was the point guard last year. Of course they won the national championship, and I think Russ Smith has just played a big role for the Louisville basketball team. For just taking that responsibility of the point guard role. I mean, he was a role player last year. Now he's the star player of Louisville now.
Yeah, I mean, I would, and between him and I think if I'm pronouncing it, Montrell Hazrell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a huge factor for this Louisville team. But
Hey, your boy Russ Smith had 7 turnovers last game. He didn't play that.
And when Kentucky gets out in transition,
Yeah,
when
the head wins will kill you.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
I really like Kentucky here, and the Kentucky beat them earlier in the year.
They did.
They did.
That's why I'm still kind of debating on it.
Julius Randle, he's probably maybe not forgot about him, but he wasn't playing up to the hype earlier in the year. This tournament, he's come back.
That's Kevin's boy right there.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, I'm really trying to leave bias out of this. And I feel like just by my answer, I'm not, but I'm taking Kentucky, really because I want them to win. But I think they can do it. I think they are putting it all together. And this is the thing. If this matchup happened in the beginning of the season, like if in the beginning of the season I told you Kentucky was going to be playing Louisville in the Sweet 16, you would have said, okay, Kentucky's going to be the favorite, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky is a great basketball team. They
Kentucky has been playing
so
up to the
much
height.
talent.
But Kentucky always does that every year. They always do terrible, and then they just
They-
come out of nowhere, and then
They
just
gotta
boom,
figure
they're
it out.
just, yeah.
They have to figure
That's
it
right.
out.
They don't get up for the small teams. They've had some really bad losses this year, but they've also had some really good wins this year.
Well, see, and then they get a lot of like freshmen that come in, so they have to transition. They're the number one team that gets the most drafts in the NBA.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
they're the definition of one and done. No.
yeah. You really just want to go to
A1
play
since day
basketball. You
one.
just go to go to Calipari. He'll get you ready, and then he'll send you on your way.
Yeah.
But Kentucky has been looking really good
Yeah.
since the SEC tournament. I mean,
They found it.
they made it to
Yeah.
the championship game. They lost by 1. They almost beat Florida. They were so
Yeah.
close.
If they weren't down by 12 in the second half, maybe they
They
come
were
back.
so close. And then they go and they beat Kansas State, and then they beat the undefeated team in Wichita State. Kentucky, they're clicking right now, and I think that they're going to have what it takes to pull the upset on Louisville. And the thing is, it's not as huge as an upset, but it's a pretty big upset considering how many people felt like have Louisville going to the championship game.
I had them
Really?
in my Final Four.
I got them in the championship.
Quite frankly, just to prove how little I care about my bracket, I said UCLA is going to be Florida. I have them in the championship game, and I have Louisville winning the whole thing, and I'm taking Kentucky.
I'm taking Kentucky, and I have Louisville in my final. I might add, but still,
my bracket it means nothing. It's not for money. It's just
my bracket should be in the garbage at this point because
Yeah.
of how bad it is.
Yeah, I have 16 correct. 16%. I mean, that's absolutely. I mean, last year I was 80% right. I mean, that's like
I'm
that's a
I'm
downward.
at 55%, but
That's still. I mean, that's still good. That's still really good.
yeah, I still got my Final Four teams in there
Yeah.
technically.
yeah. I do have the final
And,
four.
I just went against one of them right now.
The only 16% is Michigan State holding me and Arizona, and that's it. And
No.
UCLA.
I've luckily my bracket has been horrible, and it's because this weird feeling I got, and we're gonna just take it down to this last game here at Midwest. I had Tennessee beating Duke.
Whoa.
Luckily, Tennessee didn't even have to play Duke, and they played Mercer and beat them. But I also have Tennessee advancing past this game. Now, I don't know why I thought
Yeah, I
Texas
really
might have
don't
been
see
able.
Michigan. I
don't know
see
why I had
Michigan.
Texas beating Michigan wrong, but I still think Tennessee can pull off this upset, and it's because of how they rebound the basketball. I mean, you want to talk about an impressive stat. Jarnell Stokes. Now, I mean, I understand Mercer 14 seed. They beat Duke, so you can't say that this team isn't a good and deserving basketball team. Jarnell Stokes, 18 rebounds. Mercer, 19 rebounds. The kid was one shy of the entire Mercer basketball team. Tennessee is rebounding the ball incredibly, and Michigan has been getting killed on the boards.
Yeah.
They've been getting killed on the boards.
But have you seen their 3-point shooting? Yeah. I mean, that it's been incredible. It's hard to find a miss. Like they've been killing with the 3-pointers, but Tennessee has looked very impressive. I will say that Tennessee has looked great. And if they do come out and beat Michigan, I will not be surprised. I really won't be, but I do think that Michigan's gonna their shooters are gonna be too much, and I think they're gonna pull out the victory.
I mean, when you look at it, Michigan gave up 21 offensive rebounds.
That's huge.
21
Yeah, that's huge.
offensive rebounds to Texas. Tennessee is a better rebounding team, I think.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of extra shots there for this Tennessee team. And if they can knock them down, they struggle. I got to be honest, they do struggle from the 3-point line. But if they can knock down their extra shots, I think Tennessee's going to be able to escape with this win and advance that Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Now that is where we're at. When we come back next week, we're gonna get into a Final Four. But before we end today's show, I want to do a little who's staying, who's leaving. If you were in these players' shoes, what would you do? Now I'm gonna start it off with the man who I think will end up going number one. If you were Andrew Wiggins, stay or go.
I'd run if I were him. The reason why is like we saw when say Marcus Smart. I mean, his draft stock, as you just said, he's gonna go number one. It can only go down. If you're gonna be the number one pick, why not just go?
Yeah,
Like Kyrie Irving when he took that.
Yeah,
You know.
Kyrie
I
played
mean,
10 games still.
number one pick.
I think I think he has a great NBA future, and that team's gonna see that, and they're gonna take him number 1, no matter who it is, no matter if it's Milwaukee or Philadelphia. I think he should just go his run to that number 1 pick.
Yeah, this is my thing for Wiggins. He could stay in college, but for what? Like, so what? He can be the number 1 pick. He's already the number 1 pick.
That's what I'm saying.
So what does he have to prove? You know.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might as well just go to the NBA, start getting adjusted to the competition, and even if he struggles in the beginning,
learn.
They're probably
Just
gonna
learn.
they're gonna have him in the summer league for sure.
Oh, yeah,
of course.
definitely,
That's all
you
the
know.
rookies playing in the summer league.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna, you know what? Let him start making the adjustment now. Why
Yeah.
stay another year? I mean, if he comes back next year, right? Say he beats up on people, good for him.
Yeah.
You're gonna be number
it's not
1
gonna-
regardless.
It's not gonna show anything, you know.
And the thing is, but if you come back, this is when people start picking out those weaknesses.
No,
and God forbid it happen, but an injury, and that's how you ruin a career.
If he comes back, he better dominate. Like this year, like oh he's gonna dominate, and he didn't. He better dominate next year if he comes back. But I like I said, I don't think he's coming back.
No, Wiggins is out of there. Next, Jabari Parker.
He's gone. He's definitely
he's gone?
Yeah, he's the only player that I feel more than Andrew Wiggins. I feel like he's the more developed player that can be in the next level. You know.
I gotta disagree. I think he's gonna come back. I think Mike Krzyzewski does not like one and dones. I think he's gonna talk him into staying. Playing under Mike Krzyzewski another year would be very good for him. He's gonna learn a lot, and the draft class is crazy.
The recruiting.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
It's a big recruiting
Parker
class.
is staying. I'm not gonna guarantee it. I don't know Jabari Parker personally. It's not like I was texting him before the show. He had a quote though after the loss, and he says, "My collegiate career is incomplete." He has one of his best friends in Jahlil Okafor, a freshman coming in next year, and he is a winner. In high school, he won the state championship all 4 years.
Wow.
The kid's just a winner, and he's not gonna be happy unless he wins a championship at Duke, and he's gonna have an incredible chance next year.
That reminds me of Grant Hill from the 90s.
And
Grant
honestly,
Hill
I
stood the
think-
whole 4 years.
I think next year Parker is only gonna get better. I just the kid.
Yeah, I think he's gonna come back and dominate.
I think he'll win Player of the Year, and I think that he's gonna help. And you know what? You're staying another year under Coach K. That's only gonna benefit you. That's only gonna
You're
benefit
gonna get
you.
better.
And anybody will
He's gonna
say,
get better.
I think he's gonna be talked into it, and people will tell him, Coach K his knowledge is endless. You can never learn too much from him.
And I gotta say, his body could use a little bit of bulking. So
Yeah.
if he can stay and bulk up a little bit, it'll help him by the time he's ready to come to the NBA.
Yeah.
And he'll probably be number 1 next year.
Yeah, next year there'll be a doubt.
Yeah,
There's no
that's
doubt he'll
awesome.
be number 1.
Yeah.
Also, Joel Embiid. What are you thinking?
He's gone.
Yeah,
He's good.
I think if there was
He's
any
really
chance of him coming back, he would have tried to play in the tournament. And
Dude, he's out of there.
Yeah.
He didn't play a single game in the tournament because he's more
He
concerned
knew.
about his draft stock, and he's just gonna get out of there.
yeah, he knew.
Yeah.
Now the last two both freshmen. Aaron Gordon, would you stay or would you go? We kind of touched on it a little bit before.
I would stay because you made that great comparison with Blake Griffin.
That's exactly
and he's
why.
always going to be compared to Blake Griffin.
I really feel like he should stay
And-
one more year, bulk that body up, and get ready.
I don't want him leaving now. Like I agree, he should stay.
Yeah.
I don't want him leaving and then getting outbodied and
His body
being
is-
too small, and then that could really hurt him in the NBA.
for the position that he's gonna have to play, he needs to stay another year.
Yeah, he does.
The last guy though that I want to touch, the point guard of Syracuse, Tyler Ennis. Would you stay or would you go?
I would stay. I would stay
Why?
because I feel like he still has more to prove. You know, he's a great player, but there's just those little things that I feel that he just needs to fix on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like him, being the star player, taking the shot. Yes, he is. He kind of is the star of Syracuse, but he'll be more of a star next year. And I feel like him leaving Syracuse would just be a huge thing for Syracuse.
Yeah, I think he's gonna stay too. Playing same thing with Mike Krzyzewski. Playing under Jim Boeheim he can only learn more, and I think he's 6'2". It's just I don't think he's got all the tools. He can get better. He's got room to improve.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I'm stuck here. If I was Tyler Ennis, if he stays, I think he might go lower than what he would go now. There's a slight chance he improves it, but I think he might go lower. But I don't think he's ready for the NBA yet.
No, I
either.
don't. I really don't.
No, I don't.
So I think for him it's just
it's
gonna
like-
have to come down
it's-
to
I
whether
think-
he
I think
wants
it's gonna be-
the money. That's
I
I think
think-
what it's gonna come down to.
I think a great comparison is Austin Rivers. I mean,
No,
because Austin Rivers should have stayed.
No, I don't care if Austin Rivers. Don't do that to Tyler Ennis. Austin Rivers went to the NBA. He has been a bust.
yeah, that's what I'm afraid of with Tyler Ennis. I'm
but
really
they're
afraid of him
complete-
being
no.
a bust.
Rivers,
You know
is
who- no, actually-
Rivers is a shooting guard. Ennis is as a point guard. He really proved himself. I felt throughout this season, at least especially in that beginning half when Syracuse was on that incredible run.
Yeah.
But it'll be really interesting to see. I cannot wait for these week's games, and when we get back next week, hopefully I'm right. Hopefully David's wrong, because that's my favorite thing. And we'll discuss it then. But this has been Off the Bounce on WICR. Thanks for listening.